boss versus advocate. How do Black women succeed when their bosses ignore them? So I don't know about you, but I've been in that boat. I've been in that boat. It's trying. It's oh, it could be very demoralizing, right? So that's what we're talking about today. Again, I'm giving folks just a couple more minutes to find this feed because I know it's a different one than I had set up before. And I am going to make sure that I can see your comments there. And so I do, let me know. So I do have a LinkedIn user that says, yeah, me too. It sucks. I mean, it sucks. And when we, in a couple of minutes, I'm really going to talk about why it sucks when you're out there, making your boss shine, doing what you do and making the magic happen. And they ignore you, right? They're dismissive. They pretend you don't exist, or like, well, you were supposed to do that anyway. And meanwhile, someone else does like half of what you do, and it's like, yes, strong J, yes, way to go. And you're the going like, really? Is that what we're gonna do today? So absolutely so. But ladies, welcome back. So LinkedIn user says very deflating. Absolutely, it truly is. It really is, right? So, again, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Dr. Twanna Carter, and as a career coach, I empower stressed, busy women executives, all those directors and managers out there, those executives, right, who are tackling imposter syndrome, self criticism, and doubt. I help them alleviate their stress so that they can find peace of mind and focus on excelling in their careers. So another LinkedIn user says, "You said it. You were telling my story. I can't even get the words out, because sometimes it's demoralizing, and then sometimes you just have these fits of anger, and then you bounce back to, well, maybe my stuff isn't good enough, maybe I didn't do it right, maybe I missed something, maybe I need to pull up on this, maybe I need to do that. And so it goes back to that doubt, because then you're, and we're talking about imposter syndrome next week, but it can set you up for imposter syndrome. It does set you up for criticizing yourself. I didn't do it well enough. If I did this better, if I did that right. And then sometimes it makes you challenge your own being. Well, maybe it's all in my head. Maybe it's just my imagination that he gave extra attention to this person, but not myself. Maybe I'm just imagining things. And sometimes when you tell people about, they'll tell you, "Oh, you're just imagining that. I'm sure that's not the way it is." But then that says of doubt. You start to doubt what you see and what your reality is. And again, it's very a pernicious thing to have to go through, right? And so, again, if it's your first time here, I'm all about empowering Black women to reach their full potential, whether you're in corporate, you're a nonprofit, or you decide to go in entrepreneurship. And again, if you're just getting here today, we're talking about boss versus advocate. How do Black women succeed when their bosses ignore them? Okay? Because sometimes your boss is your advocate, like, yes, and then sometimes not so much. Not so much. But before we get started with all of the good stuff, I do want to take time to start with 5 things that you should already be doing. You should already be doing to make your boss shine so that you are creating success in your career. So here they are. Number one, you should understand your boss's goals and priorities. If you don't know what your boss's goals and priorities are, if you don't know what's on your boss's evaluation, wrong, 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 wrong. You should know. You should know what is on your boss's evaluation because he or she gets it from his or her boss. You should know what that is. And so when you start doing your priorities and what's important to you, it's based on what's going to make them look good. Right? Because again, this is about making your boss shine. You need to understand their goals and their priorities. And this just isn't about saying to yes, just say yes, 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 whatever they say, yes, yes, yes. It's not what it's about. It's about communicating. It's about aligning what you do, your work, to their vision and showing them that you are a team player. Very important, right? And you can start this by having a meaningful conversation with your boss about their vision and their expectations and what they're expected to meet. Know that. Otherwise, you're shooting in the dark. Maybe you get it right, maybe you don't. Number two, you need to anticipate your boss's needs, work needs. We're not talking personally, okay? So this is about becoming a forward thinker, right? It's about anticipating their needs. For those of you who are prior military out there and prior army, it is about anticipate the commander's command. Anticipate it. When you can do that well, all right, you easily make your ball shine because even before they think that they know that they need it, you've already anticipated it, right? Be that forward thinker. And this could mean being, proactively solving problems before they even think of it or taking on additional responsibilities. I used to do this, of course, prime military, so my mind would work like this when I was working for other folks. When we're going to a big meeting, I would think about all the questions someone could ask about what was going on in our session. My boss never asked me to do that. It's just something that I do. It's something that I teach, my clients to do. Anticipate. And I will go in with a separate folder, list of questions and the answers. And I've been sitting at the desk next to my boss who didn't have a clue about a question to ask. And all I did was open up my folder, take out a sheet of paper where I had already defined, where I had already listed the question, I'd already given the answer, and I just slid it over to my boss. And they look down at it and I can see the nod, the thank you, and that's it. It is about making your boss shine. It's just that simple, right? Remember that leadership isn't about managing, it's also about foreseeing and overcoming obstacles before they arise. That's number two. Number three, effective communication. That's your strategy. It covers all the bases: verbal, written, and even nonverbal cues, right? I'm the person that I just met my daughter's boyfriend and we've spoken on the phone. It's like, well, we can talk. I said, I want to talk to you in person because I want to read your body language and I want to see what I see. So nonverbal cues are important. And we as Black women, sometimes we face unique communication challenges due to bias and discrimination. But strong communication skills can really help us to not only overcome those hurdles, but also to shine and help our boss shine, right? So, number four, collaborating with your boss. And I know that I have clients that will say this. And they'll come in and says, you know, whoever made me angry, I'm so pissed off. I'm tired of them. I'm just tired of them. You know what? I'm sick and tired of it all. I'm going in. I'm going to do my job. I'm going home. Don't say anything to me. I don't want to hear it. And I just go, okay, deep breath, deep breath. Because you can't isolate like that. I shouldn't say that. You can isolate that in your job, but you're not going to make your boss shine. You're not going to be collaborating with your boss, right? You have to, work in sync with your boss, showing a genuine interest, just a genuine interest in their projects and providing constructive feedback. Not be a yes person, yes, not a yes woman, right? I know we say yes man, but not a yes woman, but really helping establish a collaborative work environment where they can depend on you. Shoot straight from the hip. Here's what I see. Here's why. Here's how I see this can happen. Here's what I've researched. Here's how it could go. Right. So if they start to depend on your opinion, so you're not just shooting, from the hip, like just coming up with some things, show that you've researched it, you've put effort, you've put thought into it, right? Show that you're committed and you're invested in their success. And that will reflect highly on you because at the end of the day, you're all, many of you out there, leaders and managers. Are you going to promote the employee who's consistently stabbing you in the back, making you look foolish in front of someone? No, of course not. So you do want to help your boss shine. That's the whole point, right? Because you help them shine, they help you shine. At least that's the goal, right? And so the fifth thing that you should already be doing with your boss, right, is demonstrating your value. You have to demonstrate your value. It is no longer about just working hard. And I get that a lot of us were told that coming up, just work hard and someone will see it and they'll reward you. No, not true. Not true. You have to demonstrate your value to the company. And so this might mean, volunteering for some high profile projects. It may be, that those projects can showcase your leadership or taking on extra responsibilities, right? And so I'm never one to advocate doing your boss's job. Yeah, I have problems with that. I was in a job where they're like, well, if you want to get promoted, you have to take things off my plate and do part of my job for me. Not as long as I'm not getting paid money for that. that was just that was just me. I didn't say that, but Lord knows that thought popped up. So I am not advocating that you just do your boss's job, but you only get paid the money you get paid. So it's not about that. But it is about making your boss and the whole company realize how dispensable you are by being valued, right? That's the difference between being used for what you have, but it's about making sure they know that you are valuable. So why in the world would you make your boss shine? Because he or she looks good, they look out for you and your promotion, right? That's the way it should go. It really should go that way, right? And making your boss shine, again, it's not about downplaying your brilliance or your intellect. Instead, it's about teamwork and it's about vision alignment and it's about demonstrating your value, right? So you should already be doing those things. But here is the meat of what we're here to talk about today. Because when Black women contribute significantly in their workplaces, their efforts can often go unnoticed or just be disregarded. Yeah. Mhm. This is due to a phenomenon I've been talking this whole month about, or for the past couple of sessions. Well, yeah, the whole month of June. That would be the whole month. Yes, the invisibility of Black women, right? And there's another term that you may hear it, referred to as is it's a phenomenon called the outsider within. And this arises when Black women find themselves as an outsider while working in spaces that are predominantly occupied by other folks who are considered of a higher status. Predominantly, spaces occupied by white men, dominated by white men. So basically, we know that you're here because you're one of the very few, if not the only, or one or two or three Black women. So we know we're visible in that respect. But you're still considered an outsider because the dominant white male is considered the norm. So you're in an organization, but you're still without. You're outsider, but you're within it, but you're still considered an outsider. And that's because the intersectionality of being a woman and being Black, or a Black woman, has extra challenges for us. And part of that is, well, you're not a white male, so you're really not considered that important around here. So what you do is just never going to be important. And it feels like that. And some I've actually been told that. So it just doesn't feel like that, but some of them will tell you that because I've been told that in the workplace. Just sit down and be quiet because what you got to do or what you contribute is not that big of a deal. Your job is just sit and learn, and if we need you, we'll let you know. Been told that. Anybody else been told something similar to that? Right. Invisible. You are there, they see you, but they discount you. You're not important. That the invisibility of Black women, and when that happens, there you are working your hardest, doing those five things I just talked about, making your boss shine, but your boss is ignoring you, right? So really, let's talk about what happens when, as a Black woman, you do help your boss excel at work, but your efforts are overlooked, downplayed, or just outright ignored. Right. So basically, what should you do when you've made your boss shine, but that promotion you deserve is still out of reach? Right. I want you to use these five suggestions. Right. So, if you hadn't already got done it already, go ahead and get your pencil, write these down. Right. Number one, assess and document your achievements. I cannot say this enough. You have to assess what you're doing, and you got to document your achievements. So let's get one string thing straight. Your achievements are valid and they matter. It is crucial to assess what you're doing and document your accomplishments. Think about your performance objectives. What are you supposed to do? Have you met them? Or even better, have you exceeded them? And most times, I don't even need to ask that question because as Black women, a lot of us are still taught you got to do 2 to 3 times as much work to be thought of as normal. And we'll talk about that later date because that's what causes stress anxiety and burnout because you're working for 2 to 3 and sometimes 4 times. You're doing 3 to 4 times of work, but you're only getting paid once for it, right? And that's what creates burnout. So, and I have some other videos I'll link you to in the chat as well, right? And so these records, the reason why you document, you're assessing your document, because these records will not only, will give you an edge doing your performance reviews, but also boost your confidence when advocating for yourself because you know what you know. You've got it in paper. It's written. You know it exists. It's not here in your head, but it's actually written down. And let me just put this caveat in here. Waiting to the last minute, i.e., it's time for your evaluation to then try to document and assess. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Don't do that. When you wait to just before an evaluation period to do the documentation and whatnot, you and your boss will only remember what's short term. Maybe the last 90 days, maybe. All the other great, glorious stuff you did in the other 9 months, you're not going to remember that, and your boss is not going to remember it. Guaranteed. The human brain just doesn't work like that. But if you're documenting and assessing all along, you know what you know, you've got the paper to prove it, right? So, number two, seek constructive feedback, right? Definitely seek that constructive feedback because sometimes, and I had a client that this happened to. She's like, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. I've always gotten rated this way, but now it's all of a sudden it's a problem. And so, when I sat down and started coaching with her and talking to her, the thing was she had a new supervisor and the supervisor wanted things done differently. So, yes, the client was doing what she'd always done and it was always enough, but not with the new supervisor. That's why you seek constructive feedback. Find out why your efforts seem to be overlooked. Like, is it valid or is it not? Arrange a meeting with your boss, discuss your performance, not when it's evaluation time, but as soon as you recognize stuff, address it then. Constructive feedback is really crucial for growth and understanding within your team, between you and your boss, but also within your team. If there are biases or misunderstandings, use this opportunity to address them. Don't wait until the end, right? Remember, it is your right to understand where you stand right now in this moment. And I've seen folks that wait all the way to the end to get an evaluation, and the boss was kind of weak. Oh yeah, you're doing fine. Oh, don't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about a thing. You're good. And when the evaluation came out, you talk about slam city. It was awful. The person didn't have a leg to stand on, didn't have anything to record it, document it, and it was pretty bad. And that person ended up leaving the job. Right. So this is important. Number two, document, right? Assess and achieve your documents. Number two, seeking that constructive feedback. Then number three, advocate for yourself. It's about the power of self-advocacy. You've got your achievements logged, you've got your feedback, and now it's time to use your voice. It's no longer about working hard. I said it before. Don't expect just working hard to speak for you. That is not. You've got to advocate for yourself. Speak up about your career aspirations, highlight your accomplishments, and express why you believe you're ready for that next step. Your voice matters and your ambitions are valid, right? I've had folks come to me to coaching and said their boss was like, you wanted that job? I didn't know. They never spoke up. Or they coming to me, but they never spoke up. They never said, hey, I want to toss my name in the hat for that position. Let your boss know your intentions, because if you don't, you'll get left behind. I mean, oftentimes, unfortunately for Black women, we're already invisible, but when your voice is missing, you're really invisible and they will pass right over you. Okay. So, number four, expand that network. Remember, no woman, especially no Black woman, is an island. Although we're socialized to think that strong Black woman, Black don't crack, I got this, I don't have to worry. You're not an island and you shouldn't be an island. Building relationships with colleagues, superiors, and others in your industry and outside of your industry can really be a game changer. So do engage in networking events, join professional organizations, volunteer, just simply connect with others on social platforms. Things who are doing about the same, people who are doing about the same thing that you are. A robust and diverse network can really provide invaluable support on your career journey. And number five, you know, your boss is ignoring you, you're killing it, you're doing the first things that I told you about, making your boss shine, and they're ignoring you, they're downplaying, they're just skipping over you. You need to consider other opportunities. Yeah, I said it. Sometimes your best bet is it's time to leave. Because if you keep working, and I've had some ladies come in and they've been making their boss shine for 10, 15, 20 years, and they never got. They literally trained their VPs, they trained their directors, they trained their presidents, they trained everybody that came in, but they're still sitting in the same place, not moving, waiting for their shot to move up. They're not going to move up in that organization, which is again how they finally came to me, because it's like you have to leave. Finally, if all of your efforts, you're making your boss shine, you're doing all the other things, and this is not, yielding your desired results. Remember, it's completely acceptable to explore new opportunities. You have that right. If your current boss doesn't appreciate your value, there is another boss out there who will, guaranteed, right? Making it simple, making such transition like this isn't simple. It's like you walk out. For some people, it is. I'll be honest with you. For some people, it's just easier than others. It isn't simple, but it's critical to find an environment and a boss who respects your skills and your contributions, right? Because otherwise, you sit and you sit, the longer you sit, your confidence erodes, your self esteem erodes, your self efficacy, your belief in that you can get things done, it erodes. And then also, you get burnout creeps in well. And you also need to find the place where you find fulfillment in doing your job. And to facilitate this process, hire a career coach, right? Honestly, you know, when folks come to me, my clients, if they're being ignored or downplayed by a boss, as a career coach, I'll find this stuff out early on when we're coaching. And then I'm coaching you. You need to do this and this. And we get to a point where it doesn't work. It's like, it's time for you to find something else. You have to. So, as a coach, I offer my clients personalized guidance to support their career transition and also help you find a position where your worth is genuinely recognized and celebrated. And actually, I offer a free 30-minute career solution call, right? And all you need to do if you want to sign up for that is write career advocate in the comments for the link, and I'll get you to sign up. You fill out a short application, I take a look at it. If it looks like we're a good fit, I'll send you the link and you can hop on my calendar. Okay. So, ladies, understand you must know that your worth is not determined by others' recognition. It's good to get it. I'm not going to say it's not good to get recognition from other folks, but that's not how your worth is determined. It's not how your value is determined. As Black women in the corporate world, nonprofit world, entrepreneurship, we face unique challenges, but we also possess an undeniable strength, right? That's what makes us us. So do continue to shine, even when you feel unseen. But get help, because you don't want to be shining in a place 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you're doing nothing but training your VPs and your presidents and your directors and your managers. That's not your job in life. Your job is to be that manager, to be that director, to be that VP. If that's what your choice is, you should be that. So do strive, do persist, but just don't expect hard work to make it. You got to work hard, but work smart. Okay. And understand and know that your professional goals are within your reach. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more empowering content on my channel. You'll get alerted every time I go live, every time I drop a new video. Right. And so you do not want to miss, ladies. I can't believe this is my third session this month. We've got one more next week. If you don't want to miss that one, for the whole month of June, I was talking about the invisibility of Black women in the workplace and how Black women can feel alone at the top, because that being invisible within, and that invisibility, it does create space for those of us that are at the top. Even as we're climbing on the top, we do feel alone. A lot of research out there about how feeling alone from COVID is really affecting people, but Black women already knew that because we deal with that on a daily basis, right? And so, really, I'm here for this month to tell you don't have to feel alone, that there's definitely help. So, next week, right, I am talking about unmasking the truth, the collision of invisibility with imposter syndrome for Black women in the workplace. That's my last live for this month. Same place next week, next Wednesday, 8:35 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:35 p.m. Central Time, and 5:35 p.m. Pacific Time. All right. I will see you next week. Thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for your comments and have a great evening.